Heating effect of electric current. When an electric current is passed through a conductor, the conductor becomes hot after some time and produces heat. This happens due to the conversion of some of the electrical energy passing through the conductor into heat energy. This effect of electric current is called as heating effect of electric current. This is very useful for us. There are a lot of equipments or appliances like water boiler, electric cooker, electric bulb, induction, etc. makes a use of heating effect of electric current. For this particular purpose, we use electrical conductors which are having a high resistivity and a very high melting point. The example given to you here is of nichrome. Nichrome is an alloy which is made up of 80% nickel and 20% of chromium. Nichrome is a very special type of alloy which has a very high melting point. Another example given to you is tungsten wire that we see in the electric bulb. It is seen that this wire gets heated to nearly 3400 degrees Celsius and emits light. This hot wire is also radiates heat to a certain extent. That's why when we touch things like maybe a iron or maybe a heater or maybe a grill heater, something like that, or even sometimes the bulb also, we feel as if it's become hot. And this helps us sometimes in case of iron and things like that. They've given you a small box over there. Always remember, you need to learn that. This is regarding the types of units that we use in case of power. Though we have learned that unit of electric power is 1 watt, but it is very small when we are using it in the industry. So we use something called as 1000 watt or 1 kilowatt. If 1 kilowatt power is used for 1 hour, it means 1 kilowatt hour. And this is usually utilized or used when we are calculating the electricity bill. If you see your electricity bill at home, you will be seeing that the units are given as 1 kilowatt per hour. It helps us to understand that how much electricity we are using per hour as a unit in our own house. Many a times we hear about accidents or fire due to short circuit, overloading, and also we hear about sometimes that there is no electricity because the fuse wire has melted. So let us understand what do we understand by the word short circuit, overloading, fuse, MCB, etc. What is the before that we have to understand that what are the type of wires that we have in our home or in our domestic use. The home electrical connections consist of three types of wire. One is called as the live wire, the other one is called as the neutral wire, and the other one is called as earthing wire. What is live wire? Live wire is the wire which connects or which conducts electricity or electric current towards the appliance. What is the neutral wire? The neutral wire completes the circuit, and the potential difference between the live and the neutral wire is 220 volt. 220 volt is usually the potential difference in case of a house or domestic use. Then what is a earthing wire? A earthing wire is a very special type of wire which protects us from electric shock. Earthing wire is connected from the electrical appliances, maybe like an iron or a geyser or oven or any other kind of electrical appliances, and it goes directly to the earth. That is, when we are connecting with the help of a 3-pin plug, the third pin is called as the earthing wire, which directly goes to the earth. What happens is sometimes say maybe you are using a iron or maybe you are using a oven or a geyser or something, and you switch on the plug and the circuit gets completed. Suppose there is a you can say maybe the wiring is not proper, it has become old, or the insulation of the wire is not proper, and maybe electricity starts going to the, instead of going to the passing through the wire, it starts going to the body of the appliances. In such a time, if you're touching the iron or if you're touching the oven, there is a chance that you may get a heavy electric shock. Instead of that, if there is a earthing wire, if you are touching the faulty appliance, you will not be getting a shock, but the electricity directly travels from the body of the appliance to the earth. And this wire is called as the earthing wire. So it's always advisable that you use a 3-pin plug instead of a 2-pin plug, so that you have the protection of the earthing wire also. Now what happens in case of fuse, or in case of what is short circuit? Short circuit means that suppose when current is passing through, all of a sudden there is a voltage fluctuation. That means the voltage increases and the flow of the electric current increases. In such a case, what happens? There is a chance that the electrical appliance may get spoiled because it is not used to accept such a lot of electric current. Or maybe the live wire and the due to some fault, the live wire and the neutral wire touches each other, and there is a spark or there is a fire, and again it passes through the wire and can cause a fire in the whole building or the whole house. In such time, the fuse is the one that protects us. What is fuse? A fuse is an electrical safety device that operates to provide overcurrent protection of an electrical circuit. Its essential component, that is, it is made up of a metal wire or a strip that melts when too much current flows through it, thereby stopping or interrupting the current. So what does it mean in simple words? That the fuse wire is made up of a wire which has a very low melting point. So if excess of electricity or electric current passes through it, the fuse wire melts. And as the fuse wire melts, the connections breaks and the circuit breaks. And excess current cannot flow through the device. And it protects the appliance, it protects the house, protects the people, and it's a very safe thing. That's why every house or has a fuse, and many times we hear that fuse ud gaya or fuse has broken, and we call the electrician and get it repaired. Then what is overloading? Overloading means that if we are using too many electrical appliances at the same time, especially during summer. What happens during summer? We are using the fans also, we are using the ACs also, and normally at other we are using mobile, we are charging mobile, we are using laptop, there's a geyser, there's a mixer, there is a refrigerator, there is a number of things that we are using. Suppose all of a sudden that everything is being used, somebody or the other is using something. So what happens? There is a condition called as overloading. Now in this case, the excess current is drawn from the transformer supplying the electricity. And if the transformer is not very good, or if its capacity is less, then the fuse wire melts and the supply gets shut. This is called as overloading. This is again a way of preventing too much use of electricity at the same time, so that the appliances do not get spoiled. As you are aware that nowadays in your 10th standard science paper, you get a lot of diagram based question. This is one such diagram that comes frequently in the paper. This is actually a set of two diagrams. The left hand side one is types of fuse, and the right hand side is miniature circuit breaker or MCBs. What type of question you get over here is, they give you either both the diagram and ask you what is it, or they give you just one diagram. If the left hand side diagram is given and you are asked to identify, you will say that it's fuse, and based on the type of questions asked you can answer them. Whereas on the right hand side, the exam or the diagram given is of MCB or miniature circuit breaker. As we discussed that what is a fuse, and we said that fuse wire melts and a fuse cannot be reused. That means if excess of current is flowing through the circuit, what happens is the fuse wire melts and the electricity or electric current stops, and it saves the electrical appliances. But you have to replace the fuse. It cannot be reused again. Miniature circuit breaker is a modern thing which is similar to fuse in function, but it is can be reused. We define it as a circuit breaker is an automatically operated electrical switch designed to protect an electrical circuit from damage caused by excess current from an overload or short circuit. Its basic function is to interrupt the current flow after a fault is detected. But the difference between fuse and MCB is, as I told you, that fuse cannot be reused, it has to be replaced. But whereas in case of MCB, it simply trips. It does not melt, it trips and it stops. And what happens is, after some time, the electrician or even we, if you're aware of it, you know how to reuse it. It can be easily reused by changing the switch or switching it on. So nowadays, every house you will be seeing in your own house also things that require a high amount of electric current. That is, say, in case of geysers, in case of oven, we usually have a MCB connected to it. That is, the reason is such that, so that suppose there is a fault with the geyser and you switch on the geyser. Now, in normal cases, if you're not using a MCB, what will happen is there may be a short circuit and everything stops. Every appliances gets spoiled. But if you have connected an MCB to your geyser, the moment there is a fault in the appliance or there is a fault in the wiring, the MCB will trip. That means the switch goes in the other side. It falls down actually. Instead of being on top, it falls down, and we say that it has tripped. And it falls down or trips, and only the geyser stops. No other type of electrical appliances gets spoiled or gets hurt. That is the purpose of MCB.